Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, which is day 3 of the conference already.
Gosh, it's flown by.
It has, isn't it? And what a show we have for you today. Isn't that right, Anka?
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to this one.
As usual, the morning has been packed full of, well, an excellent plenary, and then also a lot of
Really
sessions.
good talks.
Yes.
Yeah. Really good weather also.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
We've been around the venue. I finally got my crutches. We've been around the venue, and I feel a bit sorry for the exhibition because people do go to the sessions, but then whenever they have a break, they go to the beach. So the exhibition hall is quite quiet, I suppose. Well, not quiet. Now you can actually talk to the exhibitioners.
Yes.
Normally it's not like
there are many more people outside than inside, but why not on a day like today?
Oh yeah, how often does that happen here?
Exactly. What are you excited about this afternoon, Anka? Have you got anything that you're thinking, I can't wait to hear this?
All of it, actually.
True.
I think we've got a very diverse. Sometimes we've been a bit focused, but I think this year we've been very diverse in the talks we have, and we go from methodology to sort of global issues to current issues, political issues. It's like we're a bit, I don't want to say all over the place. I feel all over the place, obviously, this year with not being fit, but I think it's very diverse, and I'm looking forward to that.
It is very diverse. It is. That's true. And in case you haven't noticed, we have how many crutches, Anka?
I now have this double set. That means I can actually walk now without having to use either Nikki or Georgia's shoulder, which they
revolutionary.
Well, yes, I'll have to send them like some coupon for massage salon or something because I've been abusing that. But yeah, no, it's been good, and I do like even if this year is a bit odd, I do like it here, and maybe even because it's been odd, I feel it extra strongly that figured I'd miss out on the whole social aspect, but I don't think everyone has ever been kinder and come to visit me, and I got to borrow walking sticks and crutches.
It's true, actually, and the amount of people that have actually even come in here and said, "Oh, Anka, I heard that you'd hurt yourself."
Yeah. Hey, loser, how are you?
Very caring.
No, but it's really caring, and I feel that even more now. So,
loved
it. How did you enjoy it so far?
I enjoyed myself immensely this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. There's a vibe that I can't describe. I don't know whether it's just because people haven't seen each other for a year or whether it's because of the sunshine, but everyone is incredibly happy and positive and enthusiastic, which I love. I liked the selection of talks. I don't know, I suppose, as you say, more diverse, really, really interesting section of talks. It wasn't AI, of course,
AI is the thing. Like, it's still, I think if you go to the brochure, every page will have at least 1 or 2 talks on AI.
Of course,
it's the biggest thing happening now. So of course that has the most talks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found other talks as well on, for example, the methodology that I use, conversation analysis, which absolutely delighted.
Oh yeah, and I feel that some things that we have been talking about. Yesterday you had an interview about menopause. We've been talking about female teachers or women in education, equality, and I'm not saying we're done with that topic, but it's kind of nice when you get new topics and elephants in the room, and it's sort
definitely
of,
it is yeah, absolutely. And hopefully this afternoon won't be very different. It'll be full of interesting and diverse people and topics, and we hope that you enjoy it. So stay tuned, and we'll be back after this break.
and welcome back. And I am here with what has to be one of my favorite people and speakers at the conference, the woman who got me sorted, who came with chocolate to the emergency room to find me. Georgia, how are you?
Hello, Anka. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I attended your talk this morning, and aside from running live shows, this is like the busiest woman at the conference. It has to be. I don't know how she does it, but because after like looking after me, and I'm crazy needy, she did do a talk. Brilliant, like full room,
Thank you.
standing people in the back, how to deal with our TikTok generation.
That is true.
Then you do the live streams, obviously.
We do them together, yes.
And then also you're a trustee.
That is very, very true,
So
yes.
you actually work here. We
That-
always
that's
make it
true,
sound
yes.
like it's fun, but you actually work here.
But this is the beauty of the conference, to be honest, that we get to meet so many people that it does feel like work, but work we've volunteered to do because we love it.
Yeah, because that's a good thing to stress. This is all voluntary.
Yes, that
Even
is
the
correct,
trustees,
yes.
even the president and the vice presidents, which are
Yes.
quite big jobs throughout the year.
That is true, yes.
It's all voluntary work.
Yes, that is very, very true. And
And it's not like they secretly sneak you like 1,000 a month as an expenses or something.
Not at all, not at all. I can guarantee you that. So this is why it's important to highlight this, that it is a volunteer role, and whoever does it because they have got passion for what we do. So, for example, at the AGM meeting yesterday, for the people at home watching us who don't know what an AGM meeting is, this is the annual meeting where the board of trustees report on the action that they have done throughout the year, and it is a report for all of the members watching us from the conference or from home to find out more about the conference.
That is a good thing to emphasize, because as a member, we do get a lot, like information, access to materials, the conference, discount on the conference. But also as a trustee, you and the board, you work for us as members.
Yes.
And then it's not, but it should be our like more obligation to go to the AGM where you sort of defend what you've done, the choices you've
Yes.
made, and it's also our opportunity as delegates, as members, to have a voice and bring in topics or steer things a bit, or just say like, "Hey, great job," or "Shitty job." You're never going to say shitty job, but like, "Great job."
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly right, Anka. Thank you. So essentially at the AGM, what we're presenting, each of the trustees is responsible for something that IATEFL is doing. So for example, Bethany, whose tenure ended yesterday essentially, and Viola that you guys met yesterday on the live stream. So they are the treasurers. So they're
Yeah.
responsible for the finances of IATEFL and how we actually take advantage of our finances in order to help IATEFL grow, to help with sponsorships. So this is what they do. Then, for example, Chris, who is the president, he's also responsible for the publications committee. So this is the IATEFL Voices. And this is something that we report back on. So what action we have done. And yesterday, I was very proud to actually report what we three have been doing all year round, with the live streams, with the IATEFL Themes Conference, and representing IATEFL in national and international conferences.
But there's more to your job than just what you do in the live streams.
Yes, yes, it is. The less glamorous sort of job is all of the policies that I have created that encourage inclusivity, sustainability, and also making sure that members can be included in the live streams, in the themes, etc. So fair processes. And apart from that, we have got the board of trustee meetings where we discuss and make decisions about the association.
Sounds like a job. Like,
it's a beautiful job, yes. It is part of our responsibility to our industry that we love, and to the delegates who come to our conferences and who actually dedicate their free time to come here. So the least we can do is just say thank you by working hard to bring what we can to you. And also, it is part of our responsibility towards the head office team, because I must say, you will never see a more dedicated and committed team than the IATEFL head office team. So thank you
Shout
so
out to
much.
them, for
Shout out to all of the head office team. They're incredible people who are always here to help.
What do you like most about your? I'm going to call it a job, even if it doesn't pay. Like, what do you like the most?
Getting to know people, for sure. I think that my favorite thing throughout the conference was the fact that we three met some wonderful people who came to be interviewed, but also throughout the year, when we do the work online, I get to collaborate with our auditors, for example. I get to collaborate with head office, with other members of the ELT industry, and that allows me to exercise my brain in different ways in terms of governance and in terms of uh, charity law, for example.
Charity law.
Yes, because we are a charity.
Yeah.
So we need to establish our practices according to the charity law. So it's a very interesting field.
So even for a digital committee trustee, you're not just doing digital stuff, which is sort of in the name. Even I get that one, but you're doing law and you're doing finance and.
Yes, we have got the responsibility of the whole association. And this is the most interesting thing, that a big shout out to the rest of the trustees as well, because everyone is bringing their expertise. I'll give you another example. When I first started working with Alex, our current vice president, who stepped down yesterday because her tenure came to an end, I started looking, for example, as Alex said in the AGM meeting yesterday, a female president who's a non-native speaker, and that personally for me is an inspiration. So seeing all of these people working so hard, their action, how their brain works is incredible. I'm just very honored to work among all of you. And then, of course, big shout out to you two girls, because I get to work with two wonderful people who, can I just say, but don't tell them I said that, their interviews are incredible. I get so many compliments about the interviews that they are conducting. And I hope that watching us from home, you agree as well. So thank you both as well.
Well, I don't agree with this, of course, but I would like to add that I think one of the things I like about IATEFL, it being a charity, is that you have so many options to volunteer.
Yes.
And yours is actually a job. Like, you have immense power, I think so, but also that comes with work. But we have tons of voluntary jobs at IATEFL.
Absolutely.
Nikki and I also work here as volunteers, which I think is the best job. So I'm not saying apply for my job, but do look into like the voluntary jobs there are, because
Absolutely.
from the people who help at the desk and redirect you around the venue to, I think everything is run by volunteers except
Yes.
head office.
Yes, absolutely true. And because we all bring our passion, looking, for example, at the SIGs, big shout out to the SIGs and the SIG coordinators who are always willing to work with us. The SIGs have got volunteers who put an equal amount of work. They work so hard to bring activities, online events, in-person events. So when there is a call for volunteers, and if you're interested, please do approach someone, contact us if you'd like, and contact the SIGs if you'd like, because this is a fantastic opportunity to develop not only your soft skills, but also your professional skills as well.
Oh yeah, and I think that came up a lot yesterday in the interviews as well with the people we talked to, is we all have a niche. Whatever
Yes.
you do in English language teaching, we all have something about it. I think our job is too broad and too general, so we all
Yes.
have something we like, whether that's a certain topic, pronunciation, young learners, which really ties in well with the SIGs. Could also be that you have an interest in science and writing, in which case there's, I think, also voluntary positions for selections and for voices and options all over, basically, with whatever you like and whatever is your niche to work here. And
What is your niche, Anta?
my niche is falling awkwardly and clumsily and breaking my foot. No, but really, one of the things I do like about this, and why I do a lot of voluntary work, but this is definitely one of my favorites, is because often organizations say we're looking for volunteers, but they're basically looking for free labor. And that's what a volunteer does. But I always think it works best if you can do something that ties in with your talents or with what you do, what you're good at, both for the organization you work for as well as for you. And I really do like people and talking to them and finding out more background or backstories, which is why I really, really like doing this. So yeah, it doesn't feel like work for sure. Never does.
That's fantastic.
And I'm
happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that because for the past few days, I keep having the girls running around the venue. So yes, I hope they don't feel that this is actual work.
We don't. But do you sometimes feel like it's work?
Not really, because again, that is my creative side of what I do. So for me, volunteering responds to my creative side, but also my need to learn. As I said before, from every single trustee, I have learned something different. And every single person in the board of trustees, in the head office, is helping me and encouraging me to develop my skills. So for me, yes, of course, I have got a lot of responsibilities, but I have got this fantastic opportunity to learn and grow and hopefully become a better professional and a better person as well.
I think you will. I mean, I think we
Oh,
started...
so you mean that I'm not a good professional or a good person? Thanks, Anka.
Always room for growth. No, but you are amazing, of course. I think we started yesterday's live stream also talking about ELT career options and paths that we have, and whether you do it because it looks good on your LinkedIn and your resume or because you want to develop yourself. There are plenty of options. And, so really do look into that. Like, whether you have a lot of time or not, whether you have certain interests, see what the options are.
That's absolutely right. Exactly. Now, final shout out to our sponsors and also to the people at the exhibition hall. I must say that everyone in the exhibition hall has been fantastic, willing to help people, willing to help delegates. So everyone, and even the stewards, can I just say a funny story? So yesterday we were told that we were going to prepare for the AGM meeting, and we were told that we need to go to Office 13. The funny story is that in the venue, there is no Office 13 any longer. Very long story short, I spent 40 minutes of my time walking around trying to find a haunted office. And Jean, who is the trustee responsible for the associates, was doing the same thing in different parts of the building. And at some point, we both met after 40 minutes, after walking up and down, trying to find Office 13. And in the end, we had the meeting in Office 12. Unbelievable. But I increased my steps of the day, so that was good news.
That is good. And as you said, the stewards really help with this also.
They're incredible, yes. And on day one, the venue stewards, even though we have got our volunteers, big shout out to Metin as well, that was in the queue with me, helping the crowds, along with the rest of the trustees and along with other volunteers as well. So the stewards were helping us on day one, which is the busiest day of the registration.
Oh, yeah.
And they were incredible.
Oh, yeah. And we do have quite a few people here because I think wherever you go, there's someone from the venue or from IATEFL. Just walking around, keeping an eye on things, making sure that talks stop on time, that the next one starts on time. If you're lost, then they'll tell you where Office 13 is, if it's existing. If you're a klutz and you are with crutches, they offer to open doors for you. It's like, it's crazy, but you can't walk a single hallway here without getting help.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have got all of these announcements as well, which are very important for the delegates. So this is what we hear now. This is what happens in live streams. But this, I'm hoping, brings you a little bit of the vibe from the conference. Now, please do write your comments. Please do get in touch. If you're ever interested in IATEFL or in learning opportunities or volunteering opportunities, please do get in touch because we will be more than happy to guide you. So yes. And of course, don't forget that through the live streams, you have the opportunity as well to get to know people and to learn from the interviews as well. Yes.
Oh yeah, and if you're watching live, I do always love that in the comment section, people are exchanging already. So even if you're from home, if you're watching this live, you can still have that experience.
That is very, very true. Yes. Excellent. So Anka, this is the final show today.
mean,
Yes,
I'm
I must
very sorry.
say, every year I've got this tradition where I show to the people watching us from home our conference program. Our conference program is something that I keep every single year. Now, you might ask me, Georgia, why do you keep this program? The reality is that through these sessions, what I like doing on the train back, for example, what I will be doing is I will go through the sessions and I will start looking for inspiration, any topics that I might not have heard of before. Like yesterday, for example, Kathy Hill was talking about menopause, the menopause act
Yeah.
that is coming into effect next year. So that had me thinking that, oh, that's interesting. As a school director myself, how can I establish this
Oh, yeah.
in my work? So what safety and security. So please excuse us.
Gotta love being live.
Now, what I would encourage everyone watching us from home to do is to download this digital program. You can still find it on our website, iateflconference.org, and you can have access to this. Now, this program might help you also getting to know different themes, different topics that we had at the conference, because with more than 600 topics throughout the conference, you can find a variety of themes and you might get some ideas that can help you in what you do. So I would definitely recommend downloading this or keeping this and learning from it.
Oh yeah, because it also tells you who is an expert on this topic.
Absolutely.
That's something I really like. For me, I always keep it as well for two reasons. First of all, Georgia is really big on the cover, so obviously that's why I'm keeping it. But secondly, if I have I don't know, let's say neurodivergency, and how to deal with that. This will help me to know who has stuff on this.
Exactly.
The talks, usually the title will already tell you something about what it is. But all these people do stuff with it. So it's not just like they're here and they just chat away a bit. But they actually have stuff. So
Yes.
I think Udo said it yesterday on the live talking about this, like has a whole business. You want to find out the study, you can just download it, Google the guy's name. The talk before that, literally the interview before that, was about a magazine, and they have
With
editions
Robert.
on neurodivergency. So
Exactly.
whatever your topic is that you think I'd like to know more about, even if you can't attend, this will
Yes.
help you Google the right people. And everybody in our field, I always feel, wants to help each other, wants to exchange ideas.
Absolutely.
Because it's a double thing. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love to
yes.
help people because that helps me.
It's a give and take relationship. Exactly. So can I just share an anecdote? Yesterday, we interviewed Robert from Modern English Teaching magazine, and today he came around just to thank us, etc. And then we started talking about writing an article for the magazine, and then we started talking about different books and neurodivergent students, and that created opportunities and also discussions. And this is why I love our little studio as well, even though this studio is too sunny. So we do apologize for the dark images, but I do enjoy this studio as a hub, a networking hub as well. We of course have our president and vice president, John and Sean, who come to have their lunch here, and they pick on us, but that's absolutely fine. We allow them to come to the studio. Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Excellent. So Anka, final question that I have for both you and Nikki. Okay. So if you could describe the conference in one word, what would that word be? While the girls are thinking, this is a question for you as well. If you could describe the IATEFL conference in one word, what would that word be?
The first thing that comes to mind, and let me give you two words, because the first thing that
Oh.
comes to mind is sunny. And that has to do with the fact that the sun is literally on the windows behind us. There's lights here. I am getting really hot. So that is definitely, even though I haven't seen the sun or gone outside, that's definitely the first thing that comes to mind. Secondly, I think opportunities. What I really like about this is we keep talking about the social aspect, and it is. And we keep talking about all the sessions, and it's an opportunity to learn. So even if you don't know a single person here, there's going to be like speakers, there's going to be stuff that you're going to learn, and those opportunities. But as you said, Robert came back here because he had a book that needs reviewing, and I'll write a review. And it's like, it's all these sort of exchanges. So whenever you think, I'm not sure I know that many people, I'm not sure, everybody here is, I'm not saying looking for something, but we could do stuff, and we don't always know about this. I know Voices also, they're always looking for writers.
Absolutely.
And there's so many other people here that would love, I don't know, someone to help them, someone to talk to, someone who writes for them.
Yes.
And at the same time, we all want to do those kind of things as well. So it's
Absolutely.
really just sort of the networking, the opportunities, and you, I think, always walk away with something here.
Absolutely.
More work, mostly. But still, it's something.
And I would like to mention something that Anka mentioned just now. Derek from IATEFL Voices. Please, if you have any ideas to write and you would like to write an article, to share your ideas, share your research, please feel free to contact him. If you don't know who Derek is, that's absolutely fine. You can contact me and I will point you to the right direction. But Derek is always looking for ideas for the IATEFL Voices magazine.
He's always in the studio. So if you watch us more regularly, it usually not during the conference because everybody's busy, but with our regular monthly sessions, he's an often invited guest, and he will help you out. So even if you've never written before,
exactly,
and you do feel it would be fun to try, or it's good on your resume to write for an international didactical magazine.
Exactly. And to be honest, it was because of Derek that I overcame my fear of writing. And more specifically, I was able to simply start small. And this is what Derek encouraged me to do. I started small and I started writing. And now I have got a regular column in the IATEFL Voices, which is all about your mental health. So this is the effect of IATEFL and our professional development as well. So I can see that in the studio, by the way, we have got another trustee.
Wow.
Hello, Tyson. Do you want to come? Come on in. Yes. It is the final show of the conference. Hello, no, come here. Yeah, please don't let Anka stand up.
That's okay. I won't.
So, don't worry. So, everybody, I'm very happy to announce that Tyson, yesterday, you were officially announced as a trustee.
Yes, not a half anymore. Now I'm a full trustee. Welcome to me. I feel complete. No, it feels great. I've been doing some of the work, and it's now nice to just be a full-fledged member of the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the conference now that you've been into all of these board meetings, you've made a lot of important decisions? How does it feel?
It's a little bit different of an experience than it was last time around, because there's a lot of different expectations and things that you have to oversee. Like even I hadn't really planned on doing the scavenger hunt, which I don't know if anybody out there is aware of, but we're doing a soft launch of a scavenger hunt this year. And just the fact of posting those things and making sure it's up online, there are little things like that I didn't think about and I didn't have to do last year. So it's nice to get a peek behind the curtain, and it's nice to also be able to see all the hard work that all of us put into it, especially you folks doing this. And oh, well, I'm trying to give you your flowers, But, it does, in fact, give you a different appreciation for the way the conference is run.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, Tyson, we will see you. Can I say what we talked about yesterday?
Sure. Yeah.
So, you heard it here first. Here it's coming.
Every year, every June, we have our Pride Show. This is a broadcast that we do where we invite voices that talk about Pride and what it means for them, and we hear their experiences. And this year, can I confirm? Yes.
Yes.
We have got witnesses.
Okay.
So are you coming to our Pride Show this year in June?
I'm 100% coming to the Pride Show in June. I'm looking forward to it.
Yay.
Yeah, committed. I'm invited in, and I'm looking forward to it.
What's the word that young people use? Clocked? We clocked it?
Well, you're
Yeah.
Sure.
Please confirm. Excellent. But before that, we will definitely see you in the live stream because we'll start doing interviews with the trustees as well. So we would love to have you anytime in the live stream.
My absolute pleasure.
Excellent. So thank you very much, everybody. This was the news from the trustees and also our conference program. We will come back with more speaker interviews after this break.
Welcome to Brighton, the vibrant seaside city ensconced along the southern coast of England. Prepare to embark on a journey of discovery as we uncover the fascinating and quirky facts that make Brighton truly unique. Ever heard of a city spared by the enemy due to its architecture? Well, that's exactly what happened to Brighton during World War II. It's alleged that Adolf Hitler himself ordered the Luftwaffe, German Air Force, not to bomb the city. His bizarre reason? He was completely enamoured by the unique design of the Royal Pavilion. Apparently, Hitler envisioned it as his personal seaside getaway after conquering Britain. Luckily for Brighton, his plans never came to fruition, leaving the city and its architectural gem relatively unscathed. Hello, welcome back, and I am delighted to be joined in the studio by Aslihan. Hello.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing very well too. Aslihan, how's the conference been for you so far?
It's been very interesting because I'm on the product side, so I don't usually go to conferences very often. But this year I had the privilege to come here to talk about how Pearson approaches addressing problems by using technology and AI, and hearing people about their problems, like how they see AI, what kind of questions they ask. This is very insightful for us. It is just, validating some of the hypotheses we had before, or invalidating some of them, or maybe we are thinking it in a wrong way. So, we should change our thinking. So it's very, very useful, very interesting to be here.
Absolutely. So you have a stand here as well?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Brilliant. So maybe we can talk about some of the hypotheses and the way that it was either validated or invalidated.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, we're kind of working in an environment now where AI is everywhere, and certainly from the conference, so many sessions, and that's what everyone is talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is it actually helping learners when they use it, and how do we tell?
So most product design is built around one principle: remove friction, make it easy, make it faster, make it feel effortless. And it works brilliantly for most of the products. Imagine your experience when you book a flight or order food, or trying to find something to watch at 11 p.m. when you really should be sleeping. So most of these great consumer products have been optimized around this principle. But learning is one domain where this instinct is wrong. And I think most AI in education hasn't figured that out yet. Partially because these products are being built by people who are trained on the product thinking that works everywhere else. There is this concept in learning science called illusion of fluency. So when something is easy or like effortless, you mistake that feeling for real understanding. But there's so much research about it, and I've been to a few sessions where this was talked about. The conditions that make learning feel difficult in the moment, like the trying again, or the struggle, like not knowing what to do, are the very conditions that make it stick. So learning actually requires active effort in the right moment. So going back to your question, how do we know? When I look at AI products, this is the question I ask. Did it make the hard thing easier, or did it make the hard thing disappear? Because they look very similar, but in one, probably learning happened. In the other, the user just completed a task. And we are not trying to help people complete a task. We are trying to help them become someone who can do things they couldn't do before.
Okay, that's very comprehensive. some people say that EdTech has promised an awful lot and may
Mhm.
not have delivered in its time. In what way do you think EdTech may have been unsuccessful? And also, why should we believe that AI is going to change everything now?
Because it is a very, very hard problem to solve.
Mhm.
Learning is incredibly stubbornly difficult to measure. You look at a dashboard with numbers and it only tells you half the story, because someone who does every single question right may not remember it in 2-3 weeks, or vice versa, someone who really struggles and it turns out that they actually learned the most. So learning is very inconvenient from a metrics perspective. So most people just did what they could. They measured what they could, right? Engagements, like time spent in the app or completion rates. But these are not the real story, because they don't tell you what's really going on inside the learner's head. But now what is different is that the first time in history, the technology AI is able to generate a signal from the actual moment of practice. So, how they respond, what words they use in the actual real life situation, what they struggle with, where they hesitate. We can record all these and analyze, and these are much stronger and reliable metrics and indications of how they're learning or where they are at their learning journey. So it's become possible what wasn't before. We can measure these things, and it's not great, it's not perfect at the moment, but at least we are at a point where we can start measuring this, and we know it's going to get much better over time.
So when you say we, is it AI can measure it?
Yes, AI is able to. I'm talking specifically about the speaking part, because this is where you perform, this is how you show you learned, right? This is where the performance happens. So now by using AI, if you talk to AI, we can record how you respond, how you struggle or not struggle, how you come back from it. So these are the things that we can now store and analyze and interpret and understand what you need support with, what your level is, how you are improving. So these are actual conversations, actual performance happening. And before that, we were not able to do that.
It's impossible. And that's interesting, because speaking, whether you're presenting or whether you're a learner in the classroom, a lot of people fear it. Fear it's a big, big word. What is it? Could we break it down specifically to what people are afraid of in terms of speaking?
There is a story that I love telling. I actually told it in a presentation I did earlier this week, because it really brings it home, at least for me. So it's about my niece, the daughter of my cousin, 16 years old. She goes to this very exclusive, private, very expensive school in Turkey with almost 20 hours of English a week. And 3 years ago, I got married to an Englishman. So we had English people coming over to Turkey to celebrate with us. And she was literally the only one in my family who could have a actual conversation in English. So I brought everyone together, and we were very excited for her to talk to them. And she could say nothing, absolutely nothing. And they kept asking her questions. She just couldn't speak at all. But even worse, she didn't speak to me at all throughout the day. She avoided making eye contact. So it was very interesting, but also hard to watch, right? You don't want to see that at your own wedding. And then I thought about it afterwards, and then I realized that she didn't fail an English test or an exam that day, but she failed to become in that moment someone who speaks English, because she didn't have the right practice before. Imagine all the other skills you have. Musicians practice for years before they perform. The same with the athletes, right? Again, it takes years for them. The surgeons, and thank God for that, they don't learn on the job. So
Thank goodness, yes.
So for language, so it's different because every practice is a performance. There's someone watching you and like someone, looking at your face, like waiting for you to say something. So you get to perform before practice. So what we are doing at Pearson now is we're not solving the problem of a fear, because it's not a problem in itself. It's a symptom. So what we are doing with a communication coach, digital language tutoring, speaking tutor, these are all the speaking focus products we are building, is the infrastructural problem. We are creating that private place where you can try, fail, and at some point you just get good at it. So it's the rehearsal room basically we are building. That's the problem we are solving.
Oh wow! And does the software give you feedback on your performance?
Yes. So you speak with AI. Now AI got so good, it does really simulate like real life conversation. It does feel like you're talking to a real person. So it's, I think it's as good as it can get to having a real conversation. And then you get feedback depending on your level, because the feedback is not relevant at every level, right? So like we can calibrate that. And what we do for the institutions on top of that is we share this data with the teachers. So teachers have visibility, because otherwise they have no idea what they do outside of the classroom. So we are solving like multitudes of problems with that. And I'm so glad that AI is capable of doing it now.
Wow! And what does it give feedback on? The pronunciation or the language, like the vocabulary, the grammar, everything?
Not everything, because I don't think you should get feedback on everything. It depends on what your learning goal is. For example, you're a professional or you're a 13-year-old kid going to school, right? Like you don't need the same type of feedback. So that's one. Second is like your English level. Like if you are very fluent, like you get different type of feedback, or like you're very low level, then the pronunciation is even the same type of like pronunciation. The way we deliver the feedback is different for a low level and higher level, because in a low level you focus on communication more than the perfection, but at the higher level they're already communicative, so maybe perfection becomes more of a goal. So like we make sure that everyone gets what they need to make sure that the next time they have the same conversation they do it better.
Okay. I suppose one of my final questions, or my final question is, what if teachers want AI to do something, and quite often it doesn't, what could be the one thing that teachers could ask AI to do?
I'm going to say honesty, because...
honesty?
Yes,
okay,
because
I wasn't expecting that answer. Okay.
What I mean by that is... So AI has a peculiarity that most people don't understand. So it is a non-deterministic technology tool, whatever you call it. So you ask it the same question twice and you get different answers. Because it makes judgments and judgments shift. And this is not something that is talked about widely enough, especially in the business circle. The academics talk about it quite a lot. So I think AI should be able to say, oh, I'm confident with this, but not so much about that. Go validate it, like double check it, confirm it yourself, so teachers know how to use it, because AI is not going to get everything right. We see these like disclaimers, or AI can make mistakes, but which one is a mistake? I don't know. Like which part of it should I trust or not trust? And this is possible. You can do it. Just requires a shift in the mindset when we design and build products. And I think it's not just the teachers. We should all be asking for it. Which part of it do you want me to believe or like to trust? And I think it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So from us, critical thinking and honesty from
yes,
technology.
Absolutely.
Well, fingers crossed that will happen.
I think it will happen over time. I mean, the accuracy is going to get better, but I think hopefully the products will also be a little bit more honest about the output that they share with the users. I'm really hoping that it's going to become a mindset soon.
I think it will, and I think we'll know more what to do with it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Welcome to Brighton, the vibrant seaside city ensconced along the southern coast of England. Prepare to embark on a journey of discovery as we uncover the fascinating and quirky facts that make Brighton truly unique. Brighton isn't just a vibrant seaside town. It also holds a secret world lurking beneath its surface. Built in the 18th century, these passageways were originally used for drainage and, shall we say, a spot of smuggling. While most remain hidden, some sections are now open for exploration. So, if you're feeling adventurous, you can embark on a guided tour and delve into Britain's fascinating and slightly spooky underground history.
And welcome back. And I'm here with a very special guest,
Hello.
Sophie. Sophie, you brought a very special guest.
I did. This is Duo with me now.
Duo, because we're talking to Duolingo. First of all, thank you for being a sponsor.
Oh, we're happy to do it.
That's what makes these things possible. So really, thank you. Yeah. And you couldn't miss that this year because we already talked about our lovely program. The back, we see Duo again.
There he is.
And that lovely shade of green. Duolingo, I think I know it the way most people know it. It's an app. It's been teaching me Portuguese, which I love. Still not very good at it, but that's me, not Duolingo. It's great. But that's not the only thing you're doing.
No, it's not. No, it is not. So I'm mainly here to talk about the Duolingo English test, which is another product that we have in addition to the learning app that you're just talking about. Mm-hmm.
Okay, an English test.
Yes.
As teachers, we do love our tests. So
Yes.
bring it on.
Sure.
What does it do?
So it is designed to test English proficiency and to deliver a certified score that you can use to then go on and apply mainly to universities as the primary use case, but it's also used for placement and also, assessment of proficiency in the workplace as well.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I do associate Duolingo with like happy tunes, happy colors. I'm not saying kids, but like younger learners.
Lighthearted.
Or fun,
Fun.
lighthearted
Yes.
learning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is a standardized test
Yes.
that's like accepted by universities.
Oh, yeah.
and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're accepted by over 6,000 programs around the world. Every Ivy League university accepts us. You can really...
that is something to boast by.
Yes, that's why I said it. Yeah,
Wow.
we're accepted pretty much by every university in the US. We launched about 10 years ago and we are based in the States. And so that's where we have our most acceptance. But now that we've achieved that level of acceptance throughout the US, we're also expanding into other English speaking markets. So in
The
Canada.
rest usually follows after.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
that's,
yeah. I mean, everywhere is different, but in Canada, Australia, the UK, Ireland, and also in English medium programs around the world. There are schools in Brazil and Japan and Mexico that accept us, so it's really widely accepted. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. As you said, this is a test. Obviously, it already exists.
Yes.
What sets you apart, other than the fabulous?
Other than
shade of
the shade of green, right? We're more than just green. We're so the Duolingo English test was designed to be an alternative to more traditional methods of certifying English.
Mhm.
A lot of people at Duolingo were international students themselves, right up to our CEO, and have experienced traditional English testing and found some.
You can say it directly.
Well, we just thought we could improve upon the process
That's
a
very
bit. So
politely put.
we thought we could just, a lot of the, the other tests on the market were developed or first introduced decades ago, where the landscape was very different, and we didn't have access to the same kind of technologies that we use now on the learning app. And we thought, well, perhaps we can use some of the educational technology we've been developing for the learning app and extend that to the world of assessment to improve upon what can be a very burdensome journey for a lot of people in taking a high stakes English test.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What can I expect if I prepare my students for this test? Because we know the bigger ones out there, we all kind of know. We have whole
Sure.
books. If you go to the exhibition hall, there's whole bookshops filled with like, how do you prepare for IELTS? How
Yes,
do you
yeah.
prepare for Cambridge?
Yeah.
How exactly does the test look?
So the test is, it does the same thing as the other tests. It certifies English proficiency for high stakes situations, but it's built a little bit differently and prep is a bit different. Our philosophy at Duolingo is that the best way to improve your score on the test is to improve your English, and that the best way to improve your English is to practice. But that said, we know that this is a high stakes situation, that students have a lot riding on their test results and they want to feel confident going in. And so we try to make a lot of our preparation materials available free and online for anybody to access. At my booth at IATEFL, can I pick this up in my laptop? Oh no, this is the wrong. I have a handbook at the booth that I have downstairs that is a 25 activity classroom guide that teachers can use to prepare, just to help their students understand what's on the test and be ready for it. Also, we have a full-length free practice test that is adaptive, just like our full-length certified exam. So you can take that to see, how the test flow and what the items are, and to practice it. It doesn't give you a certified score because it doesn't have the same security around it that the certified test does. But you can use it to get an estimation of what your score would be, and it's free and it's unlimited. So you can take it lots.
You say it's adaptive.
Yes.
Does that mean that when we take the test, we all start with the same test? And if I'm better or worse at English, the test sort of adapts to that?
Yes and no. Yeah. So it's adaptive, item by item. Some tests are section adaptive. We're fully item adaptive. So the way that it works is we've got this bank of test items. It's something like 50,000 items that we draw from in real time. So when you begin a test, you're given 4 questions that sort of span the spectrum of proficiency. Yeah. So that we can arrive at sort of a rough estimation of about how proficient you are.
Like A1, C1,
yeah.
Where on the scale?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And the test has been fully aligned to the CEFR by the Chartered Institute of Linguistics, if anybody wants to know that. But so once you go in, as you do, like you said, if you do well on a question, you'll get one that's slightly more advanced. If you do well on that, you'll get one slightly more advanced. If you kind of hit a point where you're like, oh no, I can't, then it kind of brings you back down to the level below. And so in doing that, we're able to home in on a student's proficiency a lot faster than if you had a fixed form test, because in those more traditional exams, every student has to answer questions across the full spectrum of proficiency in order for the test to place them on that spectrum.
I love that, because in my experience as a teacher, if your questions are too easy, at some point you're going to miss the harder ones.
Yes.
Not because you would, but because you got used to easier questions.
Right, exactly.
And if you sign up for a C1 exam, but you're accidentally not fully C1, you'll feel so demotivated with all the difficult questions.
Absolutely.
That you're going to score lower than your actual level because you lost it.
It's frustrating in both directions. I think if you're more proficient, seeing a lot of easier questions kind of takes you off your game, as you said. And then if you're not as proficient, seeing really complicated questions does stress you out. And so we wanted to, in designing this test, we really wanted to make a test that tests English proficiency, not a test that tests, your ability to sit still for 3 hours or travel or how much money you've got. Like, we just want a test that tests proficiency. And so we've tried to design something that eliminates a lot of those causes of stress that sometimes come along with other exams.
The usual tests, they're very skill-based. Right. So then it's like you have your listening bit with questions, you have your reading with questions, then you have some use of English or grammar, some speaking maybe. How does that work with this test?
So it's a bit different on ours. At Duolingo, we think of language as integrated, and we see, the ways in which people use language at school and in life are integrated, right? You're rarely just reading or just speaking. You're doing them in combination.
Oh yeah, and even if I do read, which I actually do, I never get questions with my newspaper. It's not like, I have to prove later that I actually understood what I read.
Exactly.
So there's something unnatural about that.
Yeah, so we don't have just a speaking section and then just a listening section. You get items adaptively as you go through the test. Some of those are interactive items that are designed to test one particular skill. Some of the items test across different skills. And so it's through completing all of the questions that you get that we arrive at the overall score, but then also the sub scores for those individual skills.
So if I take your exam, hopefully I'll get C2. That's what I should have. But let's say
I think you would,
C2. Then it would also tell me per scale which ones are like high C2 and which ones are maybe like,
it tests. So we report 2 sets of sub scores actually. When we first launched the test 10 years ago, and for much of the time we've reported integrated sub scores. So we report literacy, that's a combination of reading and writing. We report comprehension, that's a combination of listening and reading, and so forth. But then also we heard from universities that they wanted to be able to compare the sub skills with the other tests they accept. And so then we built out, now we report sub scores for reading, writing, listening, and speaking, and also the integrated. So when you get your score report, you can really look at.
So I still get
the variation.
Sort of your vision, which I do actually support with comprehension. Because I think those are the skills that matter.
Right.
But considering the landscape is very or sort of original skills based.
Yes.
You'd also get your listening skill or your
which was quite easy for us to start reporting because those integrated skills had always been a combination and an average of the skills that combined. So
something else that my students always ask me when they have to take one of these tests is prices, because I know they're crazy expensive.
They can be.
They can be crazy.
Yes, so that's one of the reasons that we developed this test. And I won't say other names, but our test cost $70. We wanted something that just was easy because we found, from our own experience and then also from users of the app, like people reached out to us to say, okay, I learned English, I know English, how can I certify it and not spend? I mean, there are parts of the world where a traditional test can cost 3 months' salary. Like it's no joke. They can be really expensive.
Never heard those prices, but I thought
they depending on like where you are in the world, it can be quite prohibitive.
Most of my students pay like €300 for a test.
Yes, yeah.
That's a shocker for students. That is like a
right.
lot.
It's a lot, yeah, and for families of students as well, because it's.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, when you're applying to university, the English test is one of many expenses that you undertake, and so. Unfortunately, the situation was that if you haven't got enough money to meet all those fees for your application, you can't apply or you have to wait, or that delays your whole journey. So we priced it as low as we possibly could, and so it's $70 no matter where you are in the world, and it takes 1 hour, and you get your results in 2 days, and you can send them to as many universities or programs as you want for no extra fee, because we don't want an exam with hidden fees. We want just a one price moment, and then for people to be able to move on, because it's something, taking a test is like taking a box. You have something you want to do afterwards. So
love this. So if you're watching this and you can't make it to the conference, so you haven't been able to go by the booth and look at
it's a popular booth. Yeah.
Of course. Do check out the website, because it's cheaper, faster, and if it is accepted by the universities that your students trying to get into, or the countries that your students trying to get into, it's really worth figuring out.
Yes.
And as you said, all the materials, mock exams and stuff is online. Adaptive pre-test is online, so students are prepared.
Yeah, and an acceptance guide as well. If you have a certain school in mind or a certain region where you're trying to study, you can search that on our acceptance page to see where we're taken.
Love that. So check out Duolingo. Not the app, but also the app.
But also the app.
But definitely also the test.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome to Brighton, the vibrant seaside city ensconced along the southern coast of England. Prepare to embark on a journey of discovery as we uncover the fascinating and quirky facts that make Brighton truly unique. Ever heard of a city spared by the enemy due to its architecture? Well, that's exactly what happened to Brighton during World War II. It's alleged that Adolf Hitler himself ordered the Luftwaffe, German Air Force, not to bomb the city. His bizarre reason? He was completely enamoured by the unique design of the Royal Pavilion. Apparently, Hitler envisioned it as his personal seaside getaway after conquering Britain. Luckily for Brighton, his plans never came to fruition, leaving the city and its architectural gem relatively unscathed.
And we're back, and I'm back here with Savannah. Savannah, you did a talk this morning.
I did.
And then made it here. So again, you heard it first here. How could you, before we talk about your talk, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Savannah. I'm a director of studies in Malta. It's a very small island in the Mediterranean, but
very beautiful and sunny and great. Yeah, jealous.
I feel like I'm still home, though, to be honest. We've had such brilliant weather over the conference.
I saw a list the other day that Valletta, your capital, is the sunniest capital in Europe.
Yeah, that's where my school is as well, so I feel very lucky.
Fair. So you're the director of studies at the university there.
No, I'm doing an MA at the university. I'm the director of studies of Unilang, which is a new school in Valletta, a boutique school, very small but nice.
Sounds very fancy, boutique school. What do I have to like? What's?
Oh, there's only 10 classrooms, so it's a very small place, but it's
Aw.
focused on niche, ESP for professionals and mature students. So.
Cool, fun. That is, however, not the topic of your talk this morning.
No, not at all. Completely different game.
But also a very important topic, I think, to discuss. Could you tell me something about your talk?
Yeah. So we were talking about inclusivity today, and how the materials that we usually use in classrooms, especially by course book publishers, they default to being heteronormative. So I was just giving some tips and tricks on how to slot in inclusive language. So not about making it all about inclusivity, but making inclusivity
part of it.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? Because most of us use textbooks, and as you said, the textbooks are very hetero focused.
Yeah.
And I've been told in previous years in an interview that also is because then it's easier for publishers to distribute, because in Brighton, in Malta, I'm from the Netherlands, it's quite normal and accepted, and it will sell maybe even better if we've got gay couples in the materials. But there's also parts of the world where then it's impossible to sell that book. So they often choose to leave that out completely. It's not even like, is it less than other? It's like, there's nothing. How do we change that? So if you're aware of this and I want to change that in my classroom, what should I do?
I mean, I really think it doesn't take a lot of effort, small steps and awareness. For example, something as basic as using they in the singular form. People don't really do that, but it is actually part of the language. We've been using it for decades, longer than that.
It is actually like whenever you didn't know anyone's sex or gender, you'd say they. But now it's become a sort of political thing that people avoid or do, but not necessarily.
And the students are not aware of it because obviously it's not their L1. So as teachers, we need to equip them with that language.
But they do need to know that if you don't know if someone is female or male, that you say they. What else?
We also talked about, actually, I had a fantastic audience and they had a lot of interesting things to say. And actually, to go back to a previous point that you mentioned about course book publishers, it's true. They are very limited in terms of what they can actually put into the books because they want to reach a global market. But one of the attendees gave some interesting input, and she suggested, well, why don't you put it in the teacher's notes to give this type of guidance to teachers when they're using the course book instead? And that wasn't my idea. I can't take any credit for it, but I thought it was very much in the spirit of what we were trying to do.
I think that's very clever.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine that if it's not something that you see in your environment, if you don't have it actively in your classes, and let's be honest, all teachers are a bit overworked and doing 100 things at the same time, you're just going to work from the teacher's notes. You're just going to work from the book, and you're not necessarily actively going to go, how can I I think your title is something like career my curriculum, and how can I actually like get that in? So yeah, that's good to do. At least make the suggestion you could or you should.
Yeah, even the type of vocabulary that we expose them to. I mean, why is it only mother and father? Why is parent not usually included there? Or sibling instead of brother and sister? This is language that we use all the time. It's not actually that far out there, but in course books you barely find them.
It's not like it's not far out there. It's not even out there. If you ask me, it's like basic grammar, basic vocabulary. I remember when I learned English, it was like you have parents and you have siblings, and sure, brother and sister also, but siblings.
But it's not really included in the course books, and especially if you're an inexperienced teacher or you're just not yet aware of the heteronormative angle of course books, you might overlook it because you're just teaching the materials that you have. But the whole idea of the session is, even in places where this topic might be a little bit contentious, there are still ways that you can arm students with the linguistic repertoire they need for global citizenship. So that's what the session was all about. No hat tricks, nothing mind-blowing, just
But something very important, I think, because it's very important to keep talking about this. And we always I think we just had the scoop just now that we're going to do another June Pride Month webinar. But we tend to focus on either it's all about pride, and then you've got the whole group of people that feel tired of that being pushed, but it's not, because like you said, this is normal vocabulary.
Yep.
They, sibling, parent,
Yep.
these are the words that our kids or students should know.
Yeah, and I think that in the language classroom, if you have a lesson that's all about inclusivity, that might be causing a similar level of harm as ignoring it entirely as well. I think if you want something to be normalized, you should treat it as normal.
Yeah.
So
so what should we then make normal? So the two examples you gave are about taking sort of gender out of it and just talking about the parent, or
I think as
they?
a general rule, just exposing students to all the language that they need for global communication, irrespective if it's part of your world, your language. I'm not part of the queer community myself, but they are very close to my heart. But just exposing them to all the language that they need as a general rule, and being aware and critical of the materials that you're using in your classrooms. Most of the times these are imposed by institutions. I mean, as a director of studies myself, I know that there are curriculums that need to be followed, higher ups that even the director of studies can't really, go against, but there are still ways that you can include the language, and but just be inclusive naturally.
To make it natural, you already said the topic discussions about families. I think we see that in every sort of elementary course book. There's always a chapter family, and then you talk about the home situation, and that is usually the standard home situation, but not variants. What are other topics that you could easily work this in without making it a big thing, to normalize it, but that do make sense? I can imagine the chapter food isn't necessarily easy to work this in.
Probably not, but I did. It's still on the topic of pronouns. But during my talk, I gave an example. Some of my students, while I was teaching, overheard administration talking about a teacher that they weren't very happy with because they were always late. And my student just asked me, "Wait, but why are they saying they for the singular?" And it just became something that happened during the lesson. So it doesn't necessarily need to be something that you slot into a particular topic. Obviously, family is the most obvious one, but the general mindset of being aware and inclusive. And that extends beyond the LGBTQ community, because in relation to family, nuclear families are not that common anymore, but we're only arming students with that language. What about adoptive parents? What about chosen family?
Yeah, so that's why that is the chapter where I think we should all work it in, to make sure that at least we have the language to talk about it. And good that you pointed out, because if you are going to be gossiping about someone, it is good to use the they. That way, like when you say he or she, then still they can guess, like, how many 10 classrooms, how many teachers are there, that must be that person. They is a good way to make sure that they don't know. So very smart, good advice to the students. So what do you think about the conference so far?
Oh, it's fantastic. Such variety, different people, interesting ideas, different presenting styles. It's my third conference this year, and it's really great because every year I meet new people, lots of new ideas, exposed to things that I wouldn't necessarily think about. And at the end of the day, it's about the students, right? And the more we know, the more we can help them know. So IATEFL is one of the best ways to do that.
So you'll go back next week inspired.
Definitely.
What is the best thing? Like, what's the biggest takeaway that comes to mind?
Oh, that's a big question. There are a lot. I'm very interested in artificial intelligence. In fact, I'm on the LT SIG committee, and we had a very interesting session by Sophia Mavridi, and she was talking about AI and writing. And I think we're getting a lot of pushback in relation to that at the moment. So I think my biggest takeaway was in relation to her session. That was very informative for me.
Can imagine. I think AI and writing is definitely... AI is the topic, and I think writing is the one where as teachers we feel it the most, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But you can't fight the wave. You have to go with it.
We do. We do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you
Alan.
for making us all aware of the vocabulary that we use and the pronouns that we use, and to normalize that in our everyday language, everyday classroom setting.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome back with a special guest I have with me. And there are many reasons why, Alan, you're special. But when I first started interviewing guests in the IATEFL live show, it was in 2022 in Belfast.
Right.
And you were one of the people I have interviewed. And I'm very happy to bring you back to the studio. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Alan, just to ask you, first of all, for the people watching us from home, you have got an experience of nearly 60 years in the field,
That's right.
and you have worn many different hats.
A few.
What are some of these hats?
Well, I started off with the British Council, and I was sent first of all to Yugoslavia, as then was. And from there I went to Ghana. And from Ghana, I went to Italy, and from Italy, I went to France, and from France, I went to China. From China, I went to India.
That's quite the journey.
So that's 26 years.
Wow.
So I never worked in England in all of that time.
Right.
So all of my career with the British Council was abroad.
That's such a
overseas,
valuable
yeah.
experience.
So, and then I left, I resigned from the British Council in about, I can't remember when now, actually, about the end, 1988, something like that. And I went to Bell in Cambridge. So I was Director General of Bell for 5 years. And then from 93 or so, I went to the National University of Singapore as a senior fellow. And from there, I went to Bangkok as Dean of the then English Language Institute. And I went back to England at the end of the 1990s. Yeah. So that's when I retired, in fact.
Brilliant. Is there any place that you would go back to?
Well, some places I've been back to. I mean, I would quite happily go back to India, for example, or France or Italy or even Yugoslavia, actually. Yeah.
Now, Alan, I know you from your books, apart from our interview in Belfast, but I also know you about your passion about creativity.
Yeah.
So how have you applied that in our industry?
Well, I've done a fair number of books. I started off, I worked very closely with Alan Duff, who sadly is now dead. we had a kind of an explosion of creativity, I suppose, when I was working in Paris in the 1970s. And there were all sorts of new ideas coming up. And so we wrote a whole series of books, creative books, including drama techniques in language teaching, which is still in print. It's about the only thing that is. But we looked at all sorts of things like, the mind's eye, for example, is all about visuals. And we did, we did a whole lot of interesting stuff at that time. So mainly through publication, but also, of course, through working with students and also working, doing presentations at conferences and so on. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can see that you have got the gold pin of the past president. So as a past, did you forget that you had it there?
No, I knew I'd put it on somewhere. Yeah.
So as a past president, how have you seen IATEFL develop, and how is this conference for you?
Well, it's difficult to answer, really. I mean, I was president 1990, can't remember now, actually. Anyway, towards the end of the 1990s, I was president, vice president, then president, and then vice president again, so for 4 years. I suppose since then, conferences are bigger. In a sense, it's become more professional in terms of the organization. It was very much a kind of cottage industry when, I don't know if you're aware that there was a man called Bill Lee who founded IATEFL, in fact, and who stayed along a bit too long, and eventually was kind of ousted. There was a palace coup.
Really?
Yes. And that was when, so then Peter Strevens took over, who had been my professor at Leeds, in fact. And after Peter Strevens, Ron White took over. And after Ron White, I came in. So that was, I suppose, it's become more complex. I mean, the SIGs, for example, there are many more of them now. There are more associates than there were then. And I think the conference has become more, if you like, more professionalized. There's more variety, larger numbers on the whole, and all the other things that that go on outside now, So I think it has grown, not just in numbers, but also in its kind of perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In this year's conference, you talked about silence.
That's right.
And when I met you on the first day, and you were describing to me how we can be around silence, I was intrigued, and that's why I want to ask you more. So what do you mean by silence?
The absence of noise.
No,
it's okay. No, I'll explain. I mean, I have, there are two good reasons for being interested in silence. One is existential, and the other one is pedagogical. Okay. The existential reason applies to everyone, not just teachers, because I think we are all in danger of losing our concentration, our ability to attend to things, pay attention. I mean, we live in a society of almost total distraction now. So that's one reason. The pedagogical reason is that I think that teachers on the whole, I mean, it depends on the context, obviously, but teachers are very much under pressure to perform, to get through, to cover the syllabus, to cover the textbook, to get results. And the idea is, that they're under pressure to produce results as fast as possible. And that's not how learning happens. In order to learn things, you have to have time to process them. And in many contexts, that doesn't happen because the teachers, because they're under pressure, are pressuring the students to perform immediately. Whereas what happens when you're learning anything, but particularly a language, you need time to process it. And you don't necessarily learn it in one go either. You know, you need to keep coming back to it. That's how we acquire languages. So there is a role for silence in language teaching, I think. I mean, also consider, I mean, most students come to a language class. Either if it's in the context of public education, they'll have been in a history class, a mathematics class, a science class, something else class, geography or whatever, and then they come to English.
Yes.
So all of these other things are still in their heads.
Yes.
Yeah. And so just for obvious reasons, you need to make a break before you can actually get them to start paying attention to the language. So there are all sorts of what I call readying and steadying things that you should be doing at the beginning of a class, just to settle them down and get them into a listening mode and a reflective mode. So there are those kinds of activities. And then I think in general, a lot of the activities we do could be done with more silence, because that is how they get done in depth. There's nothing to say that people can't talk after doing the activity, but very often while doing the activity, I try and persuade them not to speak, but process in here. So a lot of the creative writing activities, for example, that I do, don't require the students to say anything until the end.
Right.
And I think, you know, in general, that's, you know, leaving time for students to reflect, to have time to think about something before they offer any outcome, I think is important. Yeah.
Can I please ask you, Alan, with the new generation that is hyper digital and we keep seeing short attention spans in our classrooms, how do you think silence can be addressed? Are they able to take on the silence to absorb and process?
They are, but you have to persuade them that this is going to be valuable. You know, it's no good just diving in and saying, shut up, everybody turn off your phone.
Oh, we cannot do that?
Yeah.
No, it's not a shame.
But they get used to working without their phone.
Yes.
And you have to explain, you know, that there are good reasons for this. You know, you're losing your mind otherwise.
Yes.
Somebody is taking your mind,
That's
which
true.
is what happens with a lot of social media. And you're also spending time on things that actually don't matter very much, you know.
Absolutely, yes.
So for your own kind of self-esteem, it's good not to speak sometimes, you know. Speak when you have something to say, not just for the sake of filling a hole or a gap, you know.
I need to process that. Yes,
Yes,
because
all right, okay.
in the ELT industry, when teacher talking time is one of the things that we constantly have to work on, it's very important what you said, not only in terms of the students and stealing the focus, but also for the teachers as well, because we both have to sort of struggle to make sure that our silence is, as you said, valuable.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there are different kinds of silence, obviously. I mean, there's the silence of confusion. There's the silence of rejection and refusal. I mean, there are all sorts of negative silences, but when people are actually processing something in silence, that's valuable, you know, because that's when actually learning is kind of taking place.
Would you call that silence of focus?
Yeah, well, you could call it that. Yes, why not? Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. So a final thing, please, for the people watching us from home, what is one piece of advice that you could give them so that they can start putting in more silence into their lesson planning, for example?
Well, I think the first thing is to establish a kind of confidence that this is something worth doing. And then I have what I call, readying and steadying activities, which may just be listening to something in silence.
Yes.
No questions, no nothing. In fact, just calming yourself down, or just sitting and listening to something. If you can do that at the beginning, and gradually they come to see the value of it as well. So you're not constantly being pressured to, you've got to say something now, you've got to answer this question, it's got to be now. By reducing the pressure on it, you also increase the ability to respond, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Alan, thank you so much for your time.
Well,
I hope you're enjoying the conference.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm finding it quite tiring though, but
aren't we
you
all?
are too. I'm
It's
sure
a
you
kind
are
of
too.
tiredness, I find.
Yeah, I'm sure you are too. Yeah.
Brilliant. Alan, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I hope to see you again next year.
Well, I hope so, in Birmingham, yeah?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Welcome to Brighton, the vibrant seaside city ensconced along the southern coast of England. Prepare to embark on a journey of discovery as we uncover the fascinating and quirky facts that make Brighton truly unique. Did you know Brighton played a pioneering role in several historical moments? Believe it or not, the skies above Brighton witnessed the world's first commercial flight in 1911. A small plane took off from nearby Shoreham carrying a rather unusual cargo, a box of light bulbs. Fast forward a few decades, and Brighton again made history by opening the doors to the UK's first land-based casino in 1962. This added another layer of excitement to the city's already vibrant nightlife scene. Hello, welcome back. We have another special guest in the studio with us. This is Ernestine Chi. Hello.
Hello, Nikki.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. And you?
I'm doing very well, and you look absolutely amazing. Loving the colours. Really, really suits you.
Oh, thank you.
Have you had a good conference?
Yeah, it's been a nice experience. I've been to a couple of sessions. I've met a good number of persons, past friends, those I only talk to online. So it's really been a wonderful experience so far.
That's really sweet. So you've actually met the people that you've been corresponding with online in person at the conference?
Yeah, I did meet a couple of persons I talked to for many years. Some I had met in person, so reconnecting, it was great.
Lovely. And Ernestine, what's your role in the conference? What's brought you here?
Okay, I came here on a Hornby, so I'm sponsored by the Hornby Trust. So I was doing a Hornby presentation, reporting on a Hornby project that we did execute in Cameroon in March 2024 in person, and then the same project that we ran again online as a refresher course in 2025.
Fantastic. And in terms of the scholarship, how did you find out about it, and what made you say, oh, I'm going to apply?
Okay, so the scholarship is very different from the project.
Oh,
so
yeah,
but I'm going to talk about the scholarship a bit, and then how I got to the project. So I got to know about the Hornby scholarship in 2021 through a colleague who had won it that year. So I did apply, and I got the scholarship in 2022. So I was a student at the University of Warwick 2022-2023, and the Hornby scholarship gives the alumni the opportunity to apply for alumni grants. So they offer grants for teacher associations to run projects, but they also offer grants to alumni to run projects in their countries. And so I did apply for the alumni grant in 2023 and got it and to run the project in 2024.
tell us about your project. First of all, what's the title of your project? What did you research?
Okay, lovely. So this is something that is close to my heart, because it stems from my dissertation, kind of linked to my MA dissertation. And it's focused on teaching practice mentoring. So it came from my own experience, first as a student teacher during my practicum, the kind of experience I had, and then my the knowledge I did gain at the University of Warwick about what teaching practice mentoring is supposed to be and what cooperating teachers should be doing, and also the gap I discovered in my role as a cooperating teacher. So these experiences, that of a student teacher at one point, then a cooperating teacher at another point. And
can I just ask, so a cooperating teacher is the mentor or okay.
So cooperating teachers will be mentor teachers, mentor teachers to student teachers on practicum. So in Cameroon, if you hold an advanced level, you need to do your teacher training for 3 years. If you hold a bachelor's, then your teacher training will be 2 years. And so it's a 2-phase model. So you do teaching you do theoretical, you learn about theoretical knowledge in teacher training colleges for 3 semesters if you hold a bachelor's, 5 semesters if you hold an advanced level. And so your last semester is dedicated to teaching practice, and it's field-based in host schools. And you've got these mentor teachers, so we call them cooperating teachers, who have got to support you. But the problem is, beside the fact that there are limited opportunities for professional development in general in Cameroon, because after my initial teacher preparation, I've really not had too many opportunities for professional development within the country. Beside the fact that there are limited opportunities, the cooperating teachers who are designated to be cooperating teachers.
So it's not that they choose to be.
No, they don't choose to be, because if they had to choose, then they will probably not choose. And for the reasons I'm going to give you now. So they are designated. Now let's look at the criteria. They are designated because they are taught to be good teachers, and the inspectors know that they are good teachers because they go into the classrooms on a rolling basis throughout the academic year, and based on their teaching practice, so they observe, they can say this is a good teacher, and that's how you're designated to become a cooperating teacher or a mentor teacher to a student teacher on practicum. Another criterion is longevity in service. So you've been teaching for 12, 15 years, then you could mentor another teacher. But we all know that longevity doesn't make you a good teacher, and even if you're a good teacher, being a good teacher doesn't make you a good mentor. Mentoring and teaching practice have got their specificities. So this is a gap we identified, and when these student teachers are sent to cooperating teachers in the field, sometimes I've been a cooperating teacher. I sit in my school, and then a student teacher walks up to me with a letter that bears my name as cooperating teacher, says they are my student teacher, and it has a start and an end date of the practicum. No other information. I don't know what the expectations are. I'm lost. I really do not know what to do with them. And so that's the experience of cooperating teachers. In rare cases, there are things that we call meetings, not trainings, because they are more of procedural information. And so the cooperating teachers are lost, confused, and which means the student teachers will obviously be lost and confused. And so though the model looks quite good, because the theory plus the practice is supposed to produce ready to teach professionals. When you look at the gap, you start wondering, do the student teachers graduate as ready to teach professionals? That's a problem. So cooperating teachers, in their frustration, they do not know what to do. Nobody tells them the expectation. They have no training. Some of them, out of goodwill and passion, they try the way they can, but from their intuition, or they have to tap from past experiences. Oh, this is how my cooperating teacher used to do it 15 years ago. And so they are replicating all practices. That is in the best case scenario. Some other cooperating teachers understand teaching practice as handing over the classroom to the student teacher,
doing nothing,
and
yeah.
and the student teacher is on their own, lost. No lesson planning template, no mentorship. So mentorship is absent, or there is misguided support, and all of this, it's because the cooperating teachers have not been given any orientation or training, and so they do struggle a lot. So we did identify this gap and design the project around it. So the workshop was actually a workshop, a 3-day hands-on workshop for cooperating teachers who mentor student teachers on teaching practice, because we were able to work only with 20 cooperating teachers from the central region of Cameroon for this project.
And was that both secondary and primary?
At this level, we did focus just focus just on the secondary school teachers. Yeah, so we did the workshop in person, and then the teachers were. This was slightly let's say there was a problem with the timeline, because we should have done the workshop before the teaching practice, but we did the workshop when the teaching practice has started. But the teachers had an opportunity to implement, and because we did realize that there was that miss in the timeline, we did organize a refresher online to enable them have enough implementation time in the 2025 teaching practice phase. And yeah.
This is fantastic. And so what did you do in the workshop? Because there's a million things you could do, isn't there? Especially if they haven't got a clue where to start. What did you do?
Great. So I will just recall some of the topics we did touch on. So we looked at the role of the cooperating teacher and the qualities of an effective mentor within that. And then we also discussed things like managing the post-teaching conference, so post-observation conferences. This used to be very confrontational. So it's the teacher criticizing the student teacher and not just the lesson. Yeah, so how to give productive and constructive feedback, how to manage that post-teaching conference. So we did watch videos of bad and good examples, and then they had to analyze and say why they would consider some of the videos as good examples and why they considered some as bad examples, and then we drew lessons from that. We also discussed how to navigate difficult mentoring conversations, so strategies for doing that. And we also did a bit of theory on co-teaching and co-planning on day 2 of the workshop, and on day 3, micro-teaching, which involved co-planning and co-teaching. This was particularly important because it helped the cooperating teachers who used to abandon the classroom to the student teachers. So we're trying to, in this workshop, show them how to support the cooperating teacher and then gradually release responsibilities so that the student teacher rather takes over. So you don't just let them observe you, they observe you, and then you have to co-plan with them, co-teach with them for some time, and then they have a model on which they build for them to take over the classroom. It's not welcome, and this is your classroom.
So that was how was that received? Because I know that tandem teaching is a requirement in our context.
Yeah.
And first of all, a lot of people don't know what that actually means.
Yeah.
And then say, oh, we don't have the time and we have completely different ideas, so we don't want to do that.
Okay, lovely. So this was one thing we did that made the project successful, was that we did involve the wider educational community. So when we designed the project workshop activities, we did contact the regional delegation for the Ministry of Secondary Education.
Okay.
Submitted the concept note to them with the workshop program activities we had designed, and then they saw this was something interesting. So the delegate did issue clearance to the teachers, so that they did first of all give us the names of cooperating teachers in the central region, and then issued a letter to principals so that these teachers could have clearance from school, and so it became part of professional responsibility. So, and some inspectors were there. The inspector coordinator for bilingualism was present on day one, and then there was another inspector who was there throughout the 3 days to say. And believe me, the cooperating teachers were excited. They were engaged because it was hands-on, their voices were heard, but more so because this was a first for some of them. From the feedback we did receive post-implementation, because they did implement and then they gave us some reflective writing. So some of them wrote, but others did grant interviews, so we recorded them. They did mention things like they've been cooperating teachers for 7 years, but this is the first time they've had this kind of training. So it's giving them a roadmap. And one of the comments that stands out to me is the cooperating teacher who says it's been 5 years of a semi-blind leading a group of blind persons. Yeah, so she described herself as a semi-blind trying to lead a group of blind persons. So, and another said, yeah, she had run out of ideas, working from intuition, working from past experience of what her own cooperating teacher had done, and she had run out of ideas. She was in need of rebranding.
There we go. So, but this is incredible. The impact that that workshop has had on not only the mentors, but the knock-on effect that will have on the students and their teaching is phenomenal. So are there plans to run another one?
Yeah, we do have plans to run another workshop. We are looking at different ways. The inspector coordinator, in an Oliver Twist gesture, did ask for more in the opening ceremony, and even asked if it could be rolled out to other regions. But of course, we also think that the ministry should be putting in some finance into this. We're going to apply for another project because it's having an impact on teacher quality. It's not just supporting the cooperating teachers to do to assume the role well. It's supporting the new student teacher and therefore reducing early career attrition, which sometimes comes from frustrations linked to teaching practice, and with direct impact on student learning outcomes. So this is quality education that is being guaranteed. So
this is absolutely fantastic. Well done with the project. Fingers crossed, and best of luck with its continuation. And thank you so much for talking to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. It was great having you. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Farid. I'm come from Mexico, but I teach in Wales, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot, getting new ideas for my classes. It's always good to come. It's probably my 5th conference, so I always take lots of new things to take back to my classrooms. Yeah.
And I'm back here with Jamie. Jamie, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
For the people who don't know you, could you please introduce yourself? Tell me a bit what you're from and what you're doing other than interviews.
I'm a Scottish person.
A Scottish person? Oh.
Yeah, I'm a storyteller who used to be a teacher trainer, Nile affiliate trainer, Nile in Norwich. I have a website called Lesson Stream, a community of teachers where we like-minded teachers with a passion for using story and storytelling in the classroom, that kind of thing.
There is something about this conference that whenever I ask people, could you tell me what you're doing? I feel so lazy for just having one job. Like you do a lot.
I'm also, and this is very relevant to this conference, I'm a proud trustee of the Hands Up project, and we've got quite a strong representation here this year in Brighton. You might have seen us walking around, seen the young Palestinian teachers walking about.
You're always, I think, very present at IATEFL. What is the Hands Up project for people who don't know?
It's a charity. It's been running for about 15 years, set up by Nick Bilborough, who's a good friend of mine. And they connect children in Palestine, especially Palestine, with other classrooms across the world in all sorts of storytelling projects. And it's such a great initiative, and me being a passionate story person, it's right up my street, and it's just they're such lovely people. They're kind of blowing me away right now. We have 4 talks and 4 young Palestinians here, and they've all been remarkably different, equally moving. And young Haya's just given hers literally 10 minutes ago. I've just come up from that, so it's still reverberating in my mind.
I can imagine. And they're all storytelling focused, I take it, because of the projects.
Yes, I mean there is no other way, really. I mean, you come all this way. I mean, there's actually 3 of them have come, and there's supposed to be 4. 3 of them, Sulaiman, Haya, and Safa. They're based in Cairo. So they've come from Cairo. The last one, Saya, and I'll say a special hello to Saya because she's in Gaza and she was unable to get the visa application, unfortunately.
Yeah. But good that 3 made it and are here to talk.
Yeah.
What I love about the Hands Up project is that it's very much storytelling. I think storytelling is a great way for students to get into speaking. And then especially if you set up 2 classes from different parts of the world, there is a lot of stories to tell, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. It's the only way to communicate. By the way, I meant to say Saha there. I got the slip of the name Saha. She'll forgive me. There's no, how else could it be? I mean, you don't come all this way to share anything but your story, isn't it? And I think that's what's the thing that cuts through the noise. And I mean, they've just packed the place with emotion and just the human connection and the work that the Hands Up project's doing. They're just so busy, so many initiatives and ideas going on, and Nick is kind of just non-stop. He's a machine. You said you ask people what they get up to, and it makes me feel
makes you feel like you're the lazy person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, trust me, compared to me, you're definitely not. No, but charities do bring that out in people, I think, because you know that it's not just, I mean, storytelling is your passion. Yes. And I want to talk about that for a bit as well, because I think storytelling is very important to bring into every classroom.
Yes.
But then to be able to do that for a charity, really make that difference. I think that does make that load extra where you'll, work nights and weekends just to make that happen.
Yes. Well, I mean, my storytelling has been kind of central to what I do as a teacher and as a teacher trainer forever. It's just that I didn't always realize that. There was a big time where I was using video, or at least I thought I was using video, but really it's always been the story, and that's...
But your talk was about videos.
It had video in the title. It didn't mention story in the title, but really it was about storytelling. Because as a kind of obsessive teacher, trainer, and storyteller who's been trying to get stories out of other teachers and out of students and learners, it's very difficult to get stories out of people in a structured or organized way. It's difficult to connect with your personal experiences, and that's what we're really talking about here. It's difficult to connect with them on demand.
Yeah.
And if you do, and if you can, it's not always, you don't always want to share them, And this is when the likes of Instagram and TikTok come into play. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Instagram or TikTok, Anka, but they waste a lot of time. We know that there's a lot of
double-edged
rubbish.
sword. I think there's a lot of rubbish. I think it's proven has bad effects, but also I think it's one of the things that does bring people together, and it allows you to share I'm big on photography. Instagram obviously is a photography platform. TikTok more the video one.
Yeah.
And if you have a story to tell, I think that's one of the places where people can get it out.
Yes. Well, so what I've been doing, you see, is rather than using these platforms as a place to share your stories, these are a place to source the stories. So you,
that's interesting.
Well, my favorite type of genre is incidents caught on camera, especially ones involving animals.
Incidents with animals caught on camera. I think we're all guilty of that pleasure and watching that online. Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay.
Which animal?
Lions.
Lions.
How do you
Love
feel
it.
about lions?
Love them.
Love them. Right. Okay. So this is my favorite. This is my favorite Instagram video of 2025. All right. And what I'm going to do, you see, normally, and what happens, and the problem is because of smartphones, when this comes into conversation, what do people do? They take out their phones, they thrust it into their.
I don't have it on me, but actually I was feeling it. Like, yeah, let me grab it and find it. Yes,
now the tendency is for me to take out my phone and show you the lions. Yeah. But we go back to the days before smartphones when people they'd be obliged to put these narratives into their own words.
Yeah, because there's the only way you can share. Like, you've seen a lion.
Exactly.
If I did that ever in real life, I'd want to share that and talk about it.
So next time this happens, next time someone wants to take out their phone to show you a video, just say no. Say, put your phone away and tell me about it in the good old fashioned storytelling way. So there's two big male lions. We're somewhere in, I don't know exactly where, somewhere in sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay.
And the sun is low and it's casting these shadows in the grass. Beautiful, beautiful scene. Grassy plains. And these two big male lions are slowly moving towards each other. You see, and you're thinking, oh dear, this looks bad. What is this? Is this
I'm already feeling it.
Is this some territorial dispute?
Are they fighting?
It looks it could be going that way.
Who will win? Who will die? Yeah.
Yes. And then they eventually meet. And when they meet, they kind of bump heads. And then they orientate themselves so that they're standing parallel. And there's a bit of sort of, you realize there's no kind of defensive territorial dispute here. This is something playful, because immediately they start kind of pushing back and forth, a bit of playful rubbing. And then one of them, just like a bunny rabbit, goes down and the other one flops on top of him. And they're both just lying there under the African sun in the most beautiful way. And then this is the best part of all. These two creatures, these kings of the jungle, these ferocious beasts, they both turn, beautiful synchronized movement. They both turn so that they're spooning.
Aww, romantic.
These big meaty beasts.
That is so not what you'd expect based on what you said. Like, it's.
And I just think if there's, the world is a bad place right now. There's so many terrible, terrible things. I can't help thinking the whole world had to watch this video 3 times. We'd be in a better place.
We'd feel better for sure, but I think we would also be in a better place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also, it's not just because we watch animal videos.
Well,
but I think the storytelling bit also, because I'm not sure if you'd gotten your phone out and you'd shown me, I would have liked it as much as how you told it.
Well, if you say that after seeing it, it makes me happy, and that's what we refer to, and this is one of the things that we were talking about in the talk as the moment of comparison. This is when you compare the images you created in response to the story I told with the actual images that come out of that screen. But the important thing is here that I've got this huge bank of videos, simple action videos, I call them. And students have got to find one that they like, scan the QR codes until they've got one they connect with, something they find meaningful, and they've got to prepare to tell the story. So this kind of, it avoids the need to go personal. Having said that, it's impossible not to go personal because, you can see I've got some connection with those lions. It's very apparent, isn't it?
You could have chosen any video. You could have chosen any animal.
Yes.
So the fact that you choose spooning at lions does say something about you. Yeah.
Yes.
Preference, something personal.
It's the most romantic of all the positions, isn't it? Spooning lions, and they're yeah.
That's so not where this interview was going. But yeah, no, but it is.
Where did you think it was going? Nobody told me not to talk about spooning lions.
Storytelling. No, that's not in our, like we make everybody sign. These topics are not negotiable. We can't talk about this. We should add spooning lions. Yes.
Spooning lions. That's
You're
what we
making me
need.
blush. Like, no, but there is something personal. But I do love that because you make students choose, so it becomes personal. But it also becomes safe. Because if I want to tell my good stories, the good stories are kind of very personal and they're about me. And that might be good for some platforms. That might be good for some contexts. But in my regular classrooms, I think they prefer to talk about spooning lions.
Well, I mean, it really isn't. I've tried so hard to set up these storytelling sessions and get stories from everybody using personal experiences. It's so difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult to get one from everybody.
Yeah.
And this ensures the short narrative that everyone's starting with a different one. They prepare them.
Yeah.
That, in other words, they script them. You might talk about, in a sort of more ELT context, you might say preparation, thinking time before speaking, which is really important. But in storytelling terms, we call that scripting, and scripting can happen just here. So you have to take out time to prepare the setup, the connection, the language choices to describe the actions.
You have to set the scene for me because I don't know. I haven't seen it, so you really have to make sure that it's clear. Descriptive language, very important.
Exactly, and this is the setup. Yes, part of this, the important story.
Now you already challenged me, and we'll do this right after the interview. If I see it, do I still think the story is better than the video? I'm sure you asked your students as well. Do they like it more?
No, if they like your story better than the video, you've done your job. And this comes from my father because he's a video teller. I call this video telling, and my dad has instilled this passion for video telling into me. And famously, he has a habit of not just spoiling films, but making the TV adverts or TV clips or whatever it is he's describing better than the real thing. So yeah, I think you're doing your job well as a storyteller if you can make the experience more enjoyable. Having said that, I think you would enjoy the spooning lions. I really do. You can't not. They are so beautiful.
That is a challenge then now for everybody. Google it, find that video and see if for you as well, you think his storytelling is better than the video.
If you can't find it, get in touch on Instagram, lesson stream, send me a message and I'll send you the spooning lions and you'll appreciate them, I promise.
You have an Instagram with lesson
stream.
That's 4 videos that you then use for this.
It's not really, it's a bit neglected. I'm a bad social media person. If anyone wants to help me with my social media,
there's another voluntary job open. Like this is the episode for it. No, but brilliant. Yeah, check out the Instagram. I think it's a good thing. People that neglect their social media tend to be like more sane and mentally healthy. So that's like,
I wouldn't know if that applies to me, but I'll take it.
In that case, I need to go watch some spooning lions. I'm going to thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
No words. I'll keep this short. We need to go watch some lions.
We're back, and I'm back with someone very special, actually. It's Sandy, but I'm also thinking of spooning lions, so I need to get
yes,
to get that out of my head.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sandy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well too. I'm doing well. Sandy, just in case anyone doesn't know who you are, can you just kind of give a brief introduction into what you do and what your role is in IATEFL?
Yeah, so my name's Sandy Millen. I'm an IATEFL ambassador. I also have a blog, which is sandymillen.wordpress.com. And now I'm a full-time Delta teacher trainer. So I run my own courses called Take Your Time Delta, Delta Module 1, Delta Module 3, methodology courses that are slow 9-month courses. They're all run fully online, all based, I live in Reading, but we have trainees from all over the world. And generally, I'm a trainer, methodology writer, blogger. Yeah.
Perfect. And what does being an ambassador for IATEFL actually mean? What do you do?
Everybody asks me that question. It is the question. Mostly just talking about IATEFL whenever I can, which I do anyway as part of my courses. So it's nice to be recognised by IATEFL for that. When I come to the conference, I live blog every session that I go to. So there'll be about 30 or so blog posts appearing this week by the end of the week, depending on how much I can keep it up.
Yes.
And actually, yesterday my blog topped 1,000 posts.
No, well,
of which
congratulations.
thank you, of which probably about 300 are from IATEFL sessions and talks since I started coming in 2012. And yeah, so sharing that then makes IATEFL more visible, but also talking about it with trainees, with trainers. I've recently done a session with MA students at the University of Bedfordshire about what IATEFL is and why it's useful to be part of a professional organisation. Anything like that about kind of outreach and making people aware of what IATEFL is and what being a member means and what you can get out of being a member and being a volunteer as well.
Absolutely. It's a lovely thing to do because I think there are a lot of people that benefit immensely from it. And, if you don't know that it exists, then you could be working on your own when there's a lot of us wanting to connect.
Yeah. And I think that's often the narrative that I hear from people. Like when I meet people, they say, oh, I only found out about IATEFL last year or 2 years ago. And, sometimes people have been teaching for 20, 30 years and have never heard of IATEFL. So I think that's really important there are 6 of us who are ambassadors at the moment, and we're all working in quite different spheres. So I work mostly in the kind of private language school area. Sarah Mercer is universities, wellbeing, health and wellbeing. Evan Frendo does a lot with business English. George Pickering does a lot with leadership and management. Harry Kucha is working a lot with teachers in the Global South, particularly in Africa, but he's also involved in the university program, University of Birmingham, I think it is. And then Psych, and I'm so sorry, Psych, I can never remember how to pronounce your surname, Psych K. That's how I always think of you. Psych is in India, so working with teachers in India, in Asia, and kind of making people aware in those different contexts and different kinds of teaching, how IATEFL can help them, basically.
Brilliant. So you've got the continents and context covered.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, I suppose the other thing that I do a bit more is social media as well. I'm quite active now on LinkedIn, originally on Twitter, and now on LinkedIn. And again, that was another way that I could help people find out about IATEFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as well as being an ambassador and blogging and helping people, what else have you done at this conference?
What else have I done? Met up with lots and lots of friends. That's the best thing about IATEFL. So I've been coming since 2012, but actually the way that I found out about IATEFL was I joined Twitter in 2010. And at that point, there was a really strong teaching community on it. And in 2011, when IATEFL was in Brighton that year, I was seeing tweets from lots of people at the conference about the talks they were going to, about the people that they were meeting. And I could see people kind of making friends. And now those people are my friends. So I go out for dinner with them. I have chats to them in the corridor, bumping into people in the sessions. Because I think for me, IATEFL is all about the people. And I'm always happy when I have an IATEFL birthday, because then I get to spend the birthday with all my friends. And I think that's the thing about, building those relationships over the years as well, but also meeting new people. So today, for example, I went to Bula van der Poel's talk. He was talking about neurodivergent language teachers. thank you. It's about time somebody did that.
Yeah.
Because there are so many neurodivergent language teachers. I would very strongly encourage people to check out his white paper and look at his website. His first name, Boelo, is spelled Boelo.
He was here yesterday telling us.
Perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I definitely think it's worth looking at that. And I was talking to a teacher in that session who has dyslexia, and she said it's kind of the first time that she's felt seen at the conference.
Oh, wow.
So meeting people from different contexts or from who have different life experiences and learning about that at the conference, because IATEFL really does cover the whole world. Yes, unfortunately, I also know people who haven't been able to come because of visa restrictions. And that's so frustrating, because then we're losing out on those voices that we should be hearing from at the conference.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and all those issues as well. So which is why I think things like IATEFL themes are really important as well, so that people can still experience some of the conference regardless of where they are in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you gave a talk as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
What was your talk about?
So my talk, so I work on Delta courses, but I also am a CELTA trainer. And between both of those courses, I work quite a lot with experienced teachers, because even though CELTA is designed for pre-service, there are quite a lot of in-service teachers who come onto them. So my talk was about teacher confidence within those courses and managing expectations. And I was talking about the kind of different experience profiles of people who come into courses. So for example, you might have people who have no experience or loads of experience. You might have people who have never had any support with professional development, or who've had lots of support. And then you might have people, and far more people than I think should be like this, with very little confidence, imposter syndrome, not quite sure that the way that they're teaching is right, or that they're confident that they're good teachers in the classroom, versus those who are kind of perhaps overconfident. I sometimes say, you know, idiom, God's gift to teaching. You know, I'm an amazing teacher, and then they come onto the courses and they go, oh, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did. It doesn't mean that those overconfident teachers aren't good teachers, but we can all learn something from any course, any training.
And is this both on the CELTA and the Delta, or does it lean towards maybe the Delta?
I think it's both, especially now that there are so many in-service teachers doing CELTA. I think it's both. I think that with Delta, I think a lot of people who are overconfident or very confident perhaps don't even go in to do Delta because they think, well, I know all of that already. So Delta is a master's level qualification. And I've worked with people who have PhDs, who have masters, and they come into the Delta course and they talk about how much they learn on it. So I think those profiles are in all of the courses. But then what I was talking about in my talk was kind of how to then support those teachers or help them to understand what they're getting themselves into. So I was talking about, for example, talking about a teacher toolkit. So if I'm teaching you on a CELTA and you're an experienced teacher, I'm not trying to replace your teaching with something else. I'm trying to help you expand your toolkit. I'm trying to help you understand how your tools might work differently in different contexts and help you learn some new tools that you can add to your toolkit, for example.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because if you come into a CELTA and you have got teaching experience, you do kind of think, oh, but I've been doing it this way and it's been okay. And then for someone to observe you and to constructively criticize what you've been doing, it's very hard to open your mind and go, okay, I'll give it a go. So I do sympathize with that.
Absolutely. And I think whenever you're in any observation situation, the challenge of how you're given feedback and how you receive feedback, I think is really important. And I think this is where this idea of teacher toolkit, for example, is important, and training trainers to give supportive feedback. I mean, the fact I started training in 2013, I think. And when that happened, you maybe got a bit of training as a trainer. When you became a CELTA trainer, for example, you have to shadow a course. Great, that's amazing. But there wasn't a lot of training for trainers now. And over the last kind of 10, 12 years, I've noticed lots more kind of train the trainer courses. There's a lot more at the IATEFL conference, for example, there's a lot more input about how do we train trainers so that they can support teachers well. And I think that's a big part of it in terms of understanding different profiles and being able to communicate that idea of, yes, I've just watched you teach a lesson. Yes, those things might work in your context. We're now in a different context. Let's talk about what works in this context. Let's think about those tools, that toolbox. Let's see how the lesson could work differently. Let's talk about alternatives and then take that back to your context. Would that work in your context? Why not? If you think it wouldn't work, what else could you do instead? And I think it's that idea about having a conversation rather than I've been hearing a lot about power dynamics here. I heard Verinda and Lou, for example, talking this morning about the challenges of CELTA, especially with experienced teachers, and whether it's actually fit for purpose, given in many contexts, given that it's Western pedagogies, given that it's Western ideas that influence CELTA. Is that suitable for a teacher in Japan, for a teacher in state schools in the Middle East, for example? Or should we, do we need to change the CELTA course? Do we need to change the individual situations where people are being trained? Do we need to localize it? Maybe do we need to stop it from being an international qualification, so it's a more localized qualification? And those are all, I don't know answers to those questions, but they're all things to think about of what actually is CELTA for? What is Delta for? It's
interesting because I think where it started and the original idea isn't what it's being used for now.
Exactly.
And has it changed?
CELTA is nearly 70 years old now. I can't remember the exact anniversary, but it's coming up to 70 years old. And it was created for mostly first language English speakers who wanted to backpack, and this was a 2-week qualification so that they weren't unqualified. So they had some level of qualification, and it's evolved over that time, and certainly different trainers do it in different ways. But I think asking those questions and thinking about, okay, some centres, Verinda was saying in her centre, 80% of trainees are in-service experienced teachers. But then I think that narrative of a toolbox and a conversation and them sharing their experience with other trainees on the course who perhaps don't have any experience.
That's invaluable.
Yeah, and sharing that, but treating it as a conversation. Yes, there are assessment criteria to meet, but those criteria can be met in many different ways.
Absolutely.
There's not. Whenever anybody says to me, how should I do this? I will always say to them, there's no should. Like, there's no you should teach reading like this, you should teach writing like this. And I think that's a misconception that some people have coming into courses like that. What works in your context for your students, and being the more possibilities you're aware of, the more you can make the right choice for your students.
100%. And do they, are there sessions on things like giving and receiving feedback? Because we also have to be receptive to, trainers have to know how to do it, but as a participant we need to also be receptive to it.
I've seen sessions on that in the past. I haven't noticed any this year. It doesn't mean they aren't there, but I have seen sessions on giving and receiving feedback. It's definitely been mentioned in some of the training talks. So for example, I went to a talk yesterday that was by 2 teachers from EC, and they were talking about the trainer in training journey, and they were talking about how you learn to give feedback as a trainer in training, and building up your repertoire of different training feedback techniques, and that's something that I always struggle with, and understanding how to do that in different situations. Like if a trainee has just failed a lesson, how do you give feedback in the same way, differently? Like when do you tell them they failed? It's really hard.
This conversation can go on forever. We have about a minute left, but you're absolutely right. Culturally as well, the way that I would deliver feedback to someone from North America, to a Czech, to someone from the UK varies because of the expectation.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's an exercise in itself.
Absolutely.
Well, and I assume the room was packed and it was incredibly well received.
Yes, I've had good feedback, which is nice, and the room was full, which is nice.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Sandy, as ever, thank you so much for joining us, for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And it was absolutely lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
So, hello everybody, and welcome to our last interview of this year's conference. I'm very honored to have with me Fatma Taha.
I'm the last one. My God, that's
Indeed.
such an honor. Thank you, Georgia.
But thank you very much, Fatima, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Fatma, the moment I saw the title of your session on the program, I said, I would like to ask Fatma so many questions.
Oh, all right.
But first things first, for the people watching us from home who would not know your work, how has your ELT journey begun? How did it begin?
Oh, that was very, very long ago, and it actually connects with the interview you just had a minute ago. Because when I first started, I taught from my heart for 6 years, and it worked really well. And then I had the CILTA, and then they told me, just throw everything out the window. It's not right. You're not doing it right. Yeah. And then some years later, find myself at the British Council as a core teacher. 1 year after, I've done the Delta, and halfway through, I became a higher teacher, and now I'm a senior teacher at the British Council Egypt.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Such an incredible journey. Now, one of my previous colleagues once told me that great teachers go into management.
Yeah, that's the assumption.
Yeah, that's the assumption?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Well, let me tell you this. You're good at your job. You're a very good teacher, you're supportive, all of that, yeah? And so you don't necessarily have the leadership skills. It doesn't come naturally. You know, you need to learn them. There are those who would say that leaders are born. You're either a manager or you're not. You could never learn that. And I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. Yeah. So being a teacher, a good teacher, does not necessarily mean that you would become a good manager, but you need that organizational support. Yeah. In order so that you become a great manager yourself. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And this is so important for the teachers watching us from home who might want to go into management. So as a senior teacher.
Yes.
So what are your responsibilities? What do you do?
Well, I manage 2 programs, the adult program and the wild program. So I do a compo, but at the same time, I'm a mentor, right? I am, I coordinate and collaborate with different teams. Under me, there are other managers who manage teachers. So you see, it looks like I'm the one on top, but it's a service position. Yeah, you're serving all of that, bringing all of those people together.
That is very, very true. Now, Fatima, when you say bringing all these people together, this is such a tough job. What is one of the things that you do in order to encourage that?
Something that I'm still learning is to listen and listen actively, because people often come to you with a solution. They just want confirmation from you. Yeah, they want to know that this is okay, that this is a safe place for them to share and talk. And when I started to listen more than I talk, and because my natural mode is, as a mother, is to rescue. But well, compassion like that is great. It's great, yeah. But you gotta find the sweet spot between accountability and compassion. And when you're there, you start listening to people and hear them really well. And then maybe if you don't know what they're trying to find out of the conversation, you say that, you offer them. Say, so are you bringing this to me because you just want me to listen to you? Because I can listen. Do you want a piece of advice? Is there something that I should do for you? And that's that for you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this builds trust.
Yes. Takes time.
Absolutely. Exactly. So for people who refuse to give in to this trust and to this energy and refuse the help, what do you do then?
Well, first of all, I try to put myself in their shoes, and I try to think reflectively, if you wish, and try to think, why is that? Yeah, and be vulnerable with them. That's the key word. If you are vulnerable, if you can have that kind of courage and talk to people that way, I guess that like you can meet halfway through, and over time. This does not come in a day. It does not come in a. It takes time, situations, incidents, so that things are built from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, in this conference, you did a session.
Yes, I did.
And it was part of the Global Issues SIG
Yes.
showcase.
Mm.
What was your session about?
A big title says, Navigating Intersection, a Muslim Woman's Journey into ELT Leadership. Mouthful, I know.
Now, this is the reason why I want to invite you, because the moment I read this, I thought, this is not something that we hear often.
Mm.
And especially as a Muslim woman yourself, you are experiencing management for the first time, right?
Yes.
How is it for you?
As a first-time manager, or as in like a woman at the intersection?
Let's answer the manager and the woman later.
Right, okay. They cannot be separated, you know. I want to do something with you that I did in the session. Is that okay?
Please.
Sure,
I'd
okay.
love to.
Now, open your hands. Right. I am a Muslim. I am a woman. I am a mother, right? I am a first-time manager, and I'm from an ethnic minority, but that's me, yeah? Right, what about you? What's your intersection? Who are you when you think of yourself?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, take that. Now give me one by one and tell me.
Okay. Wow, this is incredible. I am a woman.
Yes.
I am a first-time manager.
Okay.
I am, that is very difficult. I am a non-native speaker and manager.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so hard.
It is, right?
Absolutely. Because I feel that this helps us explore our identity.
Exactly.
It's so difficult. I have got two pebbles in my hands, and I'm lost for words. I don't know how to feel.
I'll tell you what the TESOL president in my session told me, and I never thought of that myself. She said, I'm a big sister, and that means they turn to me to solve and find solutions, and sometimes it's very difficult. I don't know. I really don't have all the answer. But as a manager, right, as a senior teacher, first-time manager, I was expected to have the answers to everything. And I felt really ashamed to say that I don't know. So, to answer your question, yeah, you want to find yourself. You want to find those different identities. Where are you? Are you at the intersection of different identities? And how those different identities play a role in you making decisions, in you being perceived in the workplace, but also, very, very important, what about the person in front of you? What about your line managers? What's their intersection? Where are they coming from? Yeah, if you do understand that, if you can put yourself in their shoes and understand their intersectionality, then trust happens.
This is such a mind-blowing task. Can I just say, first of all, thank you.
Absolutely.
And I truly appreciated the fact that you didn't mention only the professional aspect, but also the personal.
Yes.
And this is where I went wrong, because you mentioned your motherhood, which is very important. You mentioned, for example, the participant of your session who said, I'm a big sister. And now my thinking is, but I didn't mention anything about my personal life. So, and we can learn so many things from our personal lives and our roles in our personal lives and bring them into our roles.
Yeah.
So what has it taken you to discover yourself as a manager?
My daughter. Let me tell you what she said. My daughter's name is Eleanor. Hi, baby.
Hello.
She's 14 years old, and she has a brother He's 10 years old. Yeah, he's such a cute thing, like with cute puppy eyes. Yeah, the minute he goes using those eyes on me, I like melt. And I like to think of myself as a mom, as a person who holds the children accountable. I want them to follow the rules. Yeah, become responsible people. Yes. But one day she said, Mom, you're such a pushover. He actually played you a minute ago when he cried. Actually, he did not do any of that. And I was like, am I? And then I found myself in the office, because again, I like to think of myself as somebody who holds people accountable for their action. Yeah. And I found myself doing the same thing in the office.
Wow.
When a teacher tears up and I go like the rescue mode automatically.
Yes.
There, honey. Let me make it right for you. The rescue mode. But it is, we see, it's accountability without compassion is fear-driven leadership. And compassion without accountability is a rescue mode.
Exactly.
Right? So you want to again find that sweet spot. And if you do, please do tell me, how did you find it? Because I'm still trying to find it.
Oh, I will definitely try. And I would love us to try together. It would be absolutely incredible. Now, Fatima, this is so interesting in terms of what you're talking about, the discovery of the self.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the womanhood aspect in terms of management.
Yeah.
How has this been for you?
Well, I would really love to say that I was surrounded by that masculine energy around me and that I had to strive and struggle. But I come from a very strong line of females. Yeah. I grew up with a mom who grew up with her grandma, with her mother and her mother before them. And each and every one of those women was like a pillar to her family. Yeah. So it's sort of, I was brought up this way. Yeah. As a woman. But can I share something like a secret with you here?
Please.
Yeah. It can be really tough at times when you have to hold it together all the time, knowing all the answer, knowing that because you're a woman, you can't be weak, because otherwise you would be seen as, oh, well, look at her. What's she doing here? Yeah, is that her right place? Maybe we needed a man in this position. So you can't, you have to keep it together all the time. Yes? Well, I'm saying no. No, I don't have to keep it together all the time. Being vulnerable is just part of being a man. A human being.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's it.
Because
really.
this was going to be my follow-up question. As human beings, sometimes we are indeed vulnerable.
Yeah.
Do you think that this affects our relationships with our staff members?
I'm still trying to find an answer for that. I tried the approach of being strong, put together the first year as a manager, and I failed miserably, let me tell you. I felt like I am like disappointing everybody around just because I couldn't recognize the fact that I just needed somebody to be there for me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I tried to find those anchors around me. And when I'm like sitting with another teacher or another line manager, I would say, can I be vulnerable with you for a minute? Is that okay? And they would say, yes, please, right? And I share something like a concern, something in my head with them, and I listen for their input. Yeah. Over time, when they know and they've seen that whatever they told me is not, they're not being judged for that. And it's a safe space, like relationship develops, evolve.
Fascinating. So, Fatima, for the people watching us from home, what is a piece of advice that you could give them?
I want to say, like, apart from being vulnerable, but try to find again that sweet spot between tensions. If you're a first-time manager, try to balance, and good luck with that. Balance accountability and compassion, closeness and boundaries, reality and hope. And you see, so like we said before, accountability without compassion means fear-driven leadership. Compassion without accountability means rescue mode. But you see, also reality does not have to be harsh, and hope does not have to be naive. And good luck with that, trying to find that spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're so right. Now, Fatma, last thing before we close together, the final show of the conference.
I'm so lucky.
We are so lucky to have you.
Absolutely.
And I think that you've given me some very important homework to start thinking about my pebbles and how these intersect. I might do that with my line manager. So Adam, if you're watching this, just to let you know, I'm coming back with homework. So how has the conference been for you?
Did you know that this is the first time I ever traveled anywhere? And I got so lucky, yes. And I got so lucky that the first time is here at the IATEFL. The conference and the people are so welcoming to away. Because I learned at school that the English is like cold and all of that. But people in the street were saying, hi, how are you doing? What's your name? And they were giving me a hug. Like I went outside and strange people were like, strangers like hugging me. And in here, it's such a supportive group. Really, I enjoy that more than you can ever imagine. That's a life-changing experience for me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you experienced this as well. This is incredible.
It is. It is.
So have you watched any sessions?
Oh, a lot.
Throughout the conference?
I did a lot. Do you want me to bring one?
Yes, please. What is one that stuck with you?
There was this session where teachers and managers were like standing even in a line behind, waiting to be able to listen and hear that. It was a session that the summary said, is there a shirk in your work? Is there a fool in your school? Is there a person who's a downright pain? And there were hundreds of managers and trainers and teachers in that room.
Brilliant.
Because there were those practical model that she brought, and I'm so eager to go and share that with the other line managers as well.
I need to go back and watch this then.
Yes, do.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, Fatma, thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Georgia. And here are the pebbles so that you can figure them out with Adam.
Are you sure? Oh, thank you so much.
Please.
Fatima, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It has been an incredible experience to speak with you. And I love your energy and I love your enthusiasm. So I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the first or the last time that we're going to see you in the show.
Fingers crossed.
So you're witnessing this and the girls can testify that I hope that we will soon see you again.
Sure.
Lovely. So thank you very much. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Now, while the girls are going to play the second video, please, of the lineup, and I'm going to consider what my other two pebbles are. We're going to say goodbye to Fatima, and then we are closing and coming back with the girls where we will say goodbye to you for another year. And thank you very much.
Perhaps
thank you,
see
Fatima.
you next year.
Absolutely. We still haven't changed because we started talking. So we will play the six, advert. We're still. This is what happens in the live show. We usually talk to our guests. You know we're live, yes?
Are we back?
We're back.
Sorry, this is why I get to talk to people and not push buttons, because I would like.
Now, I was saying to the girls that Padma gave me a fantastic idea to do this exercise with you both.
Okay.
This is incredible. And wow, I'm still thinking about my two pebbles. But girls, that's it.
I know.
What happened this year?
I've actually just, you've just said it and it's kind of just dawned on me. That is it.
That's it, yes. So we need to
That's crazy.
pack up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So first things first, apart from the word eventful, what is one word that you would use to describe the conference? I asked you before
I said opportunities.
But Nikki, you didn't reply.
For me personally, I'd say game changing, because it was just ridiculous that I was standing in front of the posters. I ran into someone I knew who said, "How's it going?" And I talked about an aspect of my professional life. And they said, "Why don't you go and see that session, because someone can help you?" So I went to that session, which led me to meeting somebody else who I ended up having like an hour's meeting with today. And that we're going to collaborate. It's just crazy. It's crazy, really.
And this is what IATEFL is all about, because we just network, we collaborate during the conference, outside the conference. It's an incredible journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'd say game changing. That's my word at the conference. Yeah,
fantastic.
And you? What did you
For
say? Have you done
me,
it already?
I do have one, and I'm going to thank Fatima for that, because she used the word intersection. Because I love how people intersect. You have truly inspired me, Fatima. You don't really know how much you have inspired me. So.
Oh.
Thank you. No, but thank you. This is the value of these shows, and I hope that the people watching from home can see the values, because I am learning. When you mentioned the word intersection, this is exactly what I was thinking. And when you turned my hand and said, "What about you? How do we intersect?" I'm thinking, well, this is what happens exactly in the conference. We intersect with people from different professional environments, different countries, different nationalities, and we intersect, we come together, and it's essentially a great minds think alike conference. So thank you so much. So just to say goodbye. Oh, they don't want to say goodbye.
No, me neither.
I think that Nikki is ready. I think that all three of us are ready to just go to the beach, which, by the way, we haven't seen, by the way, because we have been in the studio all day long. So thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful journey this year again. I would like to thank my girls. Thank you very much, girls.
Thank you, guys.
What a year.
Oh my goodness. Really.
Well, I mean, next
It has
year,
been quite a year. Oh yeah.
we will be remembering Anka's adventures with the seagulls, and we will be laughing, I'm sure. But thank you very much. Thank you very much to our speakers who joined us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much to the trustees who jumped to help and volunteer when they heard about Anka. Thank you very much to everyone who was interested, and more importantly, thank you as well for joining us.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it. It's not goodbye, Georgia. It's au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
So see you next year. So we say goodbye, like 3, 2, 1, goodbye.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Goodbye.
Now I'm gonna walk around and end the show. Yeah.
Grab my way out of there and end it.
Okay, so Nikki, if you end the show, then we can sing and dance while
I'm not allowed to touch buttons anymore.
Yeah,
No, sorry.
no. Also, she's not allowed to dance, so that's okay.
Or get up or